Welcome to this presentation relating to upcoming tenders for electrical services and plumbing services for Donegal Education and Training Board. My name is Lynnette and I am one of the Procurement Officers in Donegal ETB, where I work along with my colleagues Claire Boyle and Natalie Cannon under the direction of our Head of Procurement, Dana McMahon. Donegal ETB manage 15 of the 27 post-primary schools in the county, and together with our further education and training centres, we support the education and training needs of around 25,000 students each year. Public procurement is the buying of goods, services and works by government departments and other statutory bodies, including ETBs, in accordance with procurement rules and regulations. There are four main principles of procurement which we must follow when completing a tendering process: transparency, equal treatment and non-discrimination, proportionality and mutual recognition. Our reason for going to tender for electrical services and plumbing services is due to our high level of expenditure, which exceeded €25,000 last year. Our last C&AG audit identified both these areas as non-compliant with public procurement regulations. Therefore, we have to put a formal contract in place. Completing a formal tender process will also mean we can obtain the best value for money. Stage 1 of the tendering process is research. Stage 2 is drafting the request for tender documents and specification. Our tender documents consist of a request for tender, which outlines the selection criteria, award criteria, and the scope of our requirement, and a tender response document which is completed by the tenderer. The tender response document requires confirmation of insurances and technical ability. It also requires the tenderer to provide responses to the award criteria questions set out in the request for tender. The tender will go live on the eTenders website. This is the website used for advertising tenders at national level. National level tenders are valued at under €214,000 ex-VAT. Any queries that tenderers may have are done via the messaging facility of the eTenders website. This is also where Donegal ETB will respond to queries received. When we advertise a tender process, we use CPV codes to ensure we reach the correct target market. CPV codes help classify contract notices consistently and make it easier for suppliers and contracting authorities to find notices. While there are numerous CPV codes available that may cover electrical services and plumbing services, the following are ones which we confirm we will use. Therefore, it is very important that when registering on eTenders, you put these codes in so that you will receive alerts when these tenders go live. Tender submissions will only be accepted via the postbox facility on the eTenders website. Tenderers should complete their tender documents, upload them to eTenders and then submit them. Hard copies of tender submissions will not be accepted by Donegal ETB. The tender submission will consist of 4 documents: the tender response document, which will include the pricing schedule, Appendix 3 tenderer's statement, which should be copied onto the tenderer's headed paper and completed, Appendix 4 declaration as to personal circumstances, which must be signed by a practising solicitor or commissioner for oaths, and the electronic European single procurement document. All valid tender responses received which have passed the selection criteria will then be evaluated on 4 award criteria: cost over the term of the contract, proposed methodology for ensuring successful delivery of the services required, proposed service team, and environmental health and safety. The framework agreement will consist of 5 lots covering Letterkenny, West Donegal, Inishowen, Finn Valley and South Donegal. Tenderers may apply for one or all lots and must have all insurances in place and be fully tax compliant. Once the framework is in place, schools and centres will be able to draw down from it. Tenderers submitted to the framework will be required to submit the following documents: Health and Safety Policy, Certificates of Insurances on Insurers Headed Paper, Confirmation of Tax Compliance, Financial Identification Form and copy of Bank Statement Header. The results for Donegal ETB following this tendering process will include having a signed contract in place, being fully compliant and obtaining the best value for money. With regard to the timeline for this process, in November 2021, we started drafting the request for tender documents. Donegal Local Enterprise Office will be holding a free go-to-tender training session for suppliers on the 25th of November. It is hoped that the tender will go live on e-tenders in January and will close in early February. Evaluation of the tender responses and the award of contracts should be completed by the end of February, with the launch of the framework in March 2022. Some important things to note. The closing date and time are final. Please allow sufficient time for the upload of tender documents, as once the tender box closes, no further applications will be accepted. If you have any queries relating to the tender documents, you should use the messaging facility on the eTenders website, and Donegal ETB will respond using this same facility. Should you have any technical difficulties, please contact the eTenders help desk by emailing etenders@eu-supply.com or phoning 021 243 9277. Please note, tender submissions can be changed right up to the closing date and time by going to the response page on the eTenders website where you can edit the response. Please ensure you resubmit the response if you make changes to the documents. The new submission will replace the previous version. Donegal Local Enterprise Office will be holding a free e-tenders and tendering for public sector opportunities training session via Zoom on the 25th of November from 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. For more details, please visit www.localenterprise.ie/Donegal.